This is what we have to do when we travel and upload videos for you guys. We're in Maryland, just got to Maryland live, and we have to wait 6 hours to upload Monday's video that you've already seen a month ago. Whatever. Anyways, hope you're having a great day. Taking the trip to Maryland live this weekend, so super nice and excited to see how this goes. It's a Friday, just a bunch of high hands going on. Like, literally every other table is being used, so we're gonna hop into the 2-5. We play some pretty big pots early on in the session, so hopefully you enjoy this one. Maryland vlogs, let's send it. We hop into this 2-5, and with a $1,000 buy-in, we get right into it with Ace-King offsuit in +1. Obviously, we opened this up to $20, and right on, welcome to the table. We get 3-bet by the cutoff to 70. Action folds to me, and we're playing 7-handed on this table, and since we're super early in the session, I'm not sure how people play here around in Maryland, but given that we are out of position and it's offsuit, it's a good candidate to 4-bet, so we size to $200, and when we put this out, he makes the call fairly quickly, so really interesting to see what's going to develop on the flop. The flop is Ace-3-5 Rainbow, so obviously an easy flop to navigate, an easy one to play. Assuming that we're pretty much ahead here all the time, I throw out a small c-bet of $165. This player doesn't take too long once again for his decision. He makes the call with about 550 behind. Off to a turn, which comes the 3 of hearts. Once again, another pretty good turn for us. Sitting with top, I want to commit stacks here, and I'm not sure if I can just put them all in, or if I bet a smaller amount, we can maybe force him to commit his stack. So I decide on the latter option and throw out a bet of 250, hoping he might be able to make a crying call with pocket kings or pocket queens, or just might rip it in with the worst ace. And he does do that. He decides to rip it in, and I snap it off. Let's go to a river. This player shows ace-jack, and he did rip it in with the worst ace. Ace-king is going to take it down. This is a nice warm welcome to Maryland, winning a big pot to start off this trip. In this next spot, we pick up Ace-4 of spades in the big blind. There's an under-the-gun straddle here to $10 as well. The button raises it up to $50. Small blind gets out of the way and onto me. Here, suited wheel ace. We're definitely putting this in our 3-betting range, so I size up to $200. Sizings are a little bit bigger here given the under-the-gun straddle, but with $200 to go, the straddler folds and the button snap calls. Not sure what the snap call means, but once again, off to a flop. The flop is King-3-5 Rainbow. This is pretty much an amazing board for our hand and range. So we put in the c-bet to $175. He has another snap decision, and this one is a fold. So it's nice to get this bluff through early on and take down another pot. So far, so good here in Maryland. The third hand in, we have Ace-8 of diamonds and +1. I open up the action to $20. We get the cutoff and big blind to call. 3 ways, the flop comes Ace-King-9, 2 spades, and a diamond. Here with top pair, mediocre kicker, but still, we're going to c-bet and size to $40. We get the cutoff to make the call, and the big blind folds. The turn is the 6 of spades, so 3 spades out there now. Not really loving the situation, not really loving our kicker. Not sure what hands we beat, so I decide to check and hopefully get to showdown. But he does not want to get to showdown. He throws out a bet of $105. Now onto us. I think certainly we can defend here, but it feels like a losing play all the time. Not sure how often this player is going to be semi-bluffing with a hand like king-queen with a spade or anything like that. So we let this one go and fold top pair. Moving on. So next, we still got a bunch of ace-x's here. Ace-4 offsuit on the big blind. There's a button and small blind limp, and onto me here. I think I can go either way with a limp or a raise. I prefer a raise here just to target these limping ranges. Can't really think the button has a strong limping range, nor the small blind either. So I decided to raise it up to $30, and I guess both of them like their hand enough to make the call for 25 more, so 3 ways to a flop. The flop is Jack-3-5 Rainbow. It's an okay board, given that we do have the gutter ball and an over. So with that said, as the pre-flop aggressor, I put in a c-bet to $35. We get the button to make the call, and the small blind folds. The turn now comes the 9 of hearts. Not really a card that changes much for this hand, and I think I can probably slow down sometimes, but for one reason or another, I decide to continue and barrel again, hopefully get him off some sort of holding. I throw out a bet of $85, and this $85 bet is not going to work out. This player puts in a raise this time to 235, and given we only have a gutter ball, we're out of here. A likely holding he could have had is probably like Jack 9 or something like that. I'm not entirely sure, but yeah, we're going to fold this one with ace high. The theme of ace X's continues with ace 5 of hearts on the button. There's an under the gun open to $20. Cutoff makes the call, and now onto me. The theme has been 3-betting or 4-betting so far, but I decided to relax here. I feel like I've been a little too aggressive so far, and especially against an under the gun open, going to be narrowing and tightening up our 3-betting range. I just make the call, but that also allows the small blind and big blind to call, so we're going multi-way to a flop. The flop is 7 deuce deuce, 2 hearts, and a diamond, and surprisingly multi-way at this point. Action checks to me. So, well, I certainly can take a stab at this, and I think I have one of the better hands to do it. We have the nut flush draw, we have backdoor straight draws, we have an over. Sometimes ace high could be good here as well, so I throw out a bet of $65. Don't need to give out a free card since we're 5 ways to this flop. So 65 to go, the small blind makes the call, and now the cutoff player does something really interesting and check raises to $205. It seems pretty clear that he has a deuce in this situation, but it's really weird for him to not actually lead out and bet, given that action was checked to him since the pre-flop raiser checked. Anyways, this is a really small raise given the small blind made the call, so we're in position with the nut flush draw, certainly going to make the call when he has about $700-ish behind. I put 140 more in, and the small blind folds. Let's try to improve on the turn. The turn is the 3 of hearts. Nice to get there with the nut flush along with the redraw to the straight flush as well. He now thinks for a little bit and ultimately puts in a really easy decision. He rips it all in for $700 total, and this is a snap call. Let's go to a river, which comes the 6 of hearts. Assuming here I'm pretty much good all the time, I just show my hand, and he ends up mucking. Probably had trips of some sort, maybe a lower flush, I'm not entirely sure, but no need to force the other player to show when we're pretty much sitting with the nuts. So once again, these ace X hands are paying off, and we stack another player. There's a theme to this video, and we pick up ace jack offsuit and +1, and there's an under the gun straddle, so 2 5 10 once again. I open up the action to $40, and we only get the button to make the call. So heads up, the flop comes queen queen 3 2 spades. Neutral board textures and paired boards are going to be better for me for sure, so I don't have to size up too big with the c-bet. I bet half pot and put in $40. This player thinks and makes the call, so we're going to see what happens. When the turn comes a 3, well, I think sometimes I can continue to protect ace high here or turn my hand into a bluff on the river. So I decided to just protect it just a little bit. I throw out $50, really small, maybe get king jack to call or something like that. But when he does make the call, I feel like I'm certainly more behind than not. So we're going to have to try to improve on the river. The river is an ace, and certainly, of course, welcome to the channel. We luckbox this, and this is a bink card for us. Can I size really small for value somehow, as I probably sucked out on some sort of smaller pocket pair? I'm not entirely sure. I don't know how often I'm not sure how often this player can be sticky with a hand like pocket 7s, 8s, or 9s. So anyways, I decided to check. This player just snap checks it back, and we show our hand and take it down. Probably should have bet on the river here just a tiny amount to get a crying call, but happy to suck out here on the river. We pick up another ace, and this time it's a good one. Ace king of spades under the gun, and I open up the action to $20. Only the player to my left makes the call in +1, so once again, heads up to a flop out of position. The flop comes queen 8-5 rainbow, and given this brick city flop for us, don't need to throw out a bet here and c-bet every single board. I decide to check, and this player checks back. The turn is the 4 of clubs. It's once again another card that we're not too interested in. So when I check, action goes check, check once again. So we see a free run out. The river is the ace of clubs. Amazing card for us, even though the backdoor flush draw got there. It really doesn't matter too much, and we really want to go for value. I decided to overbet the size of the pot and try to get ace X to make a crying call, or maybe any other pair to look me up. I throw out $50 as a bet. and he doesn't take too long before putting in the call. So our hand must be good. When I show my hand, he mucks, and we take this down with another Ace X holding. All right, so mid-session update. It's only been like an hour and a half playing here, and I guess first impressions of the room. Great action. It seems like a bunch of tables being used, so there's always action to be found. There's like a bunch of different 2-5s. A 5-10 actually just opened up, and I think we're gonna do that for the next video. I've only been playing for an hour and a half. We have a lot of hands, and I want to mix in as much content, even though I'm here for the weekend. So I'm trying to pump out as many videos. So you might see a 5-10 video next time. We'll see a little foreshadow. I may hop into that game once I wrap up this 2-5 session. So there's plenty of action. The 2-5 seems to be pretty fun. And so far, I'm up like 2,000 in like an hour, something crazy. So we'll see how this goes and continues. Hopefully the run we've been super lucky in a few spots. So there's that. So far, good time here, and we'll see how this goes. We'll hop back into the action, hop back downstairs. Are you surprised when I look down at another ace? Ace 4 of diamonds in the small blind, and once again, there's an under the gun straddle. Action folds to the button who open limps. Here, I'm out of position with the $10 straddle on. I put in a raise to $60, sizing up a little bit. The under the gun straddler defends his straddle, makes the call for 50 more, and so does the button. So pot is brewing here, 3 ways to a flop. The flop is ace king 8 2 diamonds. What a dream flop for us with top pair and the nut flush draw. I throw out a bet of $75 as I think hands that can be calling this bet are just going to be higher aces or maybe sometimes king X. But under the gun player folds and the button makes the call. The turn now is another 8. Well, amazing card for us. I don't think bottom pair is going to be too sticky on this flop. So I feel like I'm free rolling against any ace, and I'm really hoping now he has a hand like ace queen, ace jack, or really just any ace that I can get it all in with. So I want to get all the money in now as I'm free rolling with diamonds. This player has $600 in stack, so I size up to $375. Unfortunately, this player folded pretty quickly, so I guess we were ahead the whole way. Who would have guessed it? We pick up ace jack of diamonds in the small blind. Once again, there's an under the gun straddle. We love playing ace X hands, and we love playing out of position. The cutoff raises to $35 and action onto me. I decided to just make the call even though we have a pretty strong hand. We're in the small blind, so we're just out of position, and we don't really want to blow up the pot. We make the call, and the cutoff makes the call for 25 more. The flop comes jack 5 deuce 2 diamonds, another sick spot. Top with the diamond draw. I decided to check this one, although there might be merit to donking out, but unfortunately action checks around, so the pot isn't as big as we'd like it to be. The turn comes the 9 of hearts, and when I look at the table deciding whether to bet or check, I see the under the gun player looks really eager to bet. So I give him the baits, I check. This player throws out a bet of $50. The cutoff, who raised pre-flop, folds. But given what I've seen at this table, this under the gun player plays the widest range of everyone here. They're certainly going to put in that check raise. We love this spot with top and the redraw. I size up to $175. For $125 more to this player, he makes the call. Let's try to improve on the river. The river is the 4 of hearts, and now we do only have one pair, and this board a little more connected, but I'm not really sure what I can get called by when I throw out a bet for value. Anyways, given that mindset, I decided to slow down and play this really strangely and take a weird line. I decided to check with the plan to call pretty much any bet. This player sizes up to $275, and yeah, we're just never folding here with top. I pretty much just snap it off, planning to bluff catch, but no bluff from him. This player shows pocket deuces, so wow, what a sick flop for him. Running into a set here and we pay him off. We certainly pretty much almost could have gotten it all in on the flop here, but I'm happy to not lose as much as I could have. Once again, another hand out of position, this time mixing it up with king jack off in the small blind. There's an under the gun open to $20. Here, I decided to flat here since even though we're out of position, we go 4 ways to a flop, so it's multi-way. Let's see what happens. The flop comes queen 10-5 rainbow. All things considered, open-ended is a pretty good flop for us. I check, and the under the gun player c-bets $35, and when the cutoff makes the call, we have an easy call for us as well, so we toss in 35. The turn comes the ace of hearts. This is just beautiful. Here, sitting with the nuts in Broadway, I check. The under the gun bets again, this time to $90, sizing up a little bit, and we even get better news. The cutoff makes the call as well, and both players are sitting extremely deep, over $2,000 to $3,000 in stack. We certainly want to get more money in here multi-way, and I think we're just going to put in that check raise and go for value, given that we are out of position. We don't want to let someone catch up if the board is paired or something, so I decided to check raise to $450. Pretty large sizing, but given that there are 2 people involved, we've got to size up a little bit. And now back onto this undergun player who tanks for quite some time, sadly makes the fold. Now back onto the cutoff who has a much larger stack. He tanks as well, thinks about it for a while and agonizes over his decision, but ultimately puts in the fold as well and mucks his cards to the dealer. Sadly, no value for us here. We could have built a pretty big one, maybe could have sized up to a more friendly sizing to get calls. This hand we look down at a premium, pocket queens on the big blind, and we're playing shorthanded, playing 5-handed here. The hijack opens to $20, action folds to me. This is a pretty easy 3-bet spot, so we do that to $80 4xing his raise, and this hijack makes the call and defends. So we're going heads up to a flop, which comes King 7 Deuce Rainbow. Here, only 1 card over our pair. The king certainly sucks, but it's good enough for our range to throw out a c-bet. I bet $60, and this player makes the call fairly quickly. The turn now comes a jack, so really not an amazing card as well, as we lose to jacks along with all the other king X holdings he might have. So I decided to slow down here out of position and check. Now this player throws out a bet of $130. Given that we are holding the Queen of Hearts, so not only do we block Queen 10 or Ace Queen holdings like that could be bluffing, we also block a bunch of different Queen X of Hearts holding as well that has some equity against us. So given this dynamic, and pretty much we only beat a pure bluff, after thinking it over for a little bit, I decided to just let this one go and fold. We don't have to call every single hand, so we let it go, and this player shows us Ace Queen offsuit for the vlog, so Danny puts the nice bluff in there. We only beat a pure bluff, and this player had it, so nice bluff, Danny. You made it. Next, we've got 10-9 offsuit on the button, and once again, an under the gun straddle is on board. Action folds to me though, so we're certainly going to open this one up on the button and size to 40. Only the under the gun player makes the call, and it seems like he's probably at one of the widest ranges at the table. So we're going heads up to a flop, which comes Ace King 8 Rainbow. This is just going to be one of the lovely boards that we're going to c-bet on, as we have all the stronger hands in range. So when he checks, I size to $35 to look like it's for value. He makes the call, so not amazing, but we're going to have to navigate a turn. The turn is a 7. Well, now it's great because we actually have some sort of equity with a gutter ball. And when he checks again, I decide to size up bigger this time, given we did improve a little bit. I size to $125, and once again, this player calls, but this one was a snap call. So the river is the queen, and this board is just super wet now. We do block Jack 10, which is kind of nice, I guess. But when he checks for a third time, does he have a hand that can call 3 streets of value? I'm not entirely sure, but we know we can't win with 10 high. So we saw Danny's ambitious bluff right before. Feeling a little inspired by that, I decided to size up and throw out a bet of $300. We haven't bluffed too much today, and we get some immediate news. This player snap calls. He snap calls with King 8 offsuits for flop 2 pair. Certainly was never going to get him off this hand, and I guess this was a punt, and this was one of the bluffs that didn't work out at all. To round out the session of the video, we pick up pocket 7s on the cutoff. The player to my right opens up the action to $20. Here, nothing to do besides toss in 4 red chips and make the call. The small blind and big blind decide on a call as well. So 4 ways to a flop, which comes Jack 8 7 2 spades. This is a hell of a wet board, and now, interestingly enough, the big blind donks out $25. The pre-flop raiser folds, and now decision time here in position. We're certainly going to raise it up and size up, so this $25 bet is way too small given we're multi-way. I size up to $100, and when the small blind folds, this big blind player makes the call, so we're going to see a turn. The turn comes a jack. Wow, this is as beautiful as it gets. He checks again, and we're certainly going to go for more value from any of his combo draws that he may have, or any Jack X holdings. I throw out a bet of $125, and he likes that sizing. He makes the call again. The river now comes the 9 of spades. This board really couldn't be more wet at all for bottom boats, and is there any chance this player could be holding Jack 10? If he holds Jack 9, that would really suck as he has a higher full house than us, but if he was chasing a flush, I think he has to call as well. So I'm not really sure what the correct sizing should be, but when he checks for a third time, we've got to assume our hand is good here all the time. So trying to figure out the correct sizing for value, could trip jacks make a crying call? Could a flush just snap it off? Could any 10 snap it off as well? Who knows, but I throw out a larger bet of $400 and he snap folds. Nothing to do here besides go for value, and he had a snap decision, so it looks like he didn't really love that river card. So we just cashed out, wrapping up the final numbers. We played for about 4 hours, and man, the action was really good at 2-5. Unfortunately, I just needed to eat some food, but we're gonna go back and probably play tonight, which you'll see in the next vlog. There's a 5-10 running. We definitely wanna play that 5-10 uncapped, at least once for the vlog and see how it goes. It's a weekend, it's a Friday night. Hopefully it's a good game. I don't know, we'll find out. But this session we played for 4 hours. We're in the game for 1,000, no rebuy, no add-on. Out of the game for $25.75. So $1,500-ish in 4 hours, always a good start to the trip. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Smash that. It'd be much appreciated. But I'll see you guys next time. Peace.